You know, for being a Transformers collector and fan of sorts for the majority of my life, I've never really given Hasbro's other in-house brands a glance. It doesn't matter if it's Mask, Visionaries, ROM, or Micronauts, it's probably just a combination of enjoying the Transformers franchise over the brands I listed, as well as most of these IPs just being, well, dead. Surprisingly, up until recently, that also included G.I. Joe, which is still definitely one of Hasbro's biggest brands today. Maybe I just didn't care for 1/18th scale figures at the time, or maybe the cartoons airing back then didn't appeal to me, but at the time I just ignored the escapades of the real American heroes and their fight to defeat Cobra. With my recent dive into 1/12 scale figures from Japanese companies though, I thought it was finally time to give one of Hasbro's 6-inch toy lines a try, because while I think they aren't as clean and as dynamic compared to SHF's at first glance, their $20 price point and sheer number of releases gives them a higher fun factor in a way. And between all of Hasbro's lines at this scale, I decided to jump in with the relatively new G.I. Joe Classified toy line, due to this really being my first experience with the franchise, with the bonus that it has many connections to the Transformers franchise throughout the years. And if you're going to jump into G.I. Joe, why not start with its biggest star? Welcome to IdArmed Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified series Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes initially released in 2020, but the figure you'll be seeing in today's video is actually the slight repaint released this year as a reissue. So let's start off with the figure without any accessories or his extra straps, so we can look at the core figure itself. As you'd expect for the character, Snake Eyes is molded entirely in black plastic, and except for a few silver buckles and 2 red Arashikage's clan symbols, there's seemingly little to no paint throughout the body. However, what makes the Snake Eyes figure so cool in just details alone is the way one color is used in different ways, like their colors for real articles of clothing. Starting at the head, or should I say helmet, it's wonderfully done and is what you expect for Snake Eyes. It's simple in its matte black plastic for the majority of the helmet, and the shiny black visor pops decently in comparison. However, personally, I prefer if this release had a silver visor akin to the convention pre-release, and the upcoming Fortnite release coming later in 2022 to pop out more. Moving down to the torso, it's molded in a similar type of plastic to the visor, only a bit less shiny overall. And for the concept that this is light armor with plates of additional armor bolted on, it's definitely the best option Hasbro could have gone with. And while it would have been nice to have some silver paint on to do the bolts throughout, the armor still looks really cool. And to contrast with the majority of the torso is both a nice rubber plastic torso strap, as well as a loose set of 2 buckled belts with some pouches on the side. With this torso, there's only 2 detriments in my opinion. First being that the pair of hands included, as even though they're well sculpted, them being the only pair feels weird since they're specifically meant to be weapon holding hands, which we'll see later on. I don't know, it just would have been nice to have gotten a pair of relaxed or closed hands. And secondly is the abs, because I know they're probably just carried over from a Marvel Legends or Power Rangers Lightning Collection figure, but here they feel a little bit tacky to me for some reason. Finishing off the sculpt with the legs, the jean-like leg wear is fantastic in its sculpting. It has this nice, completely matte finish that complements the baggy sculpting super well. And adding to it are some shinier bits on the sides that I suppose are meant to resemble pockets of sorts. And speaking of shiny bits on the figure, check out those boots. Not only do they look nice and fill their purpose, even they have pockets on them. However, with the figure in terms of its sculpting, I do have one issue, and it has to do with the foot for the articulation's sake. The day I got Snake Eyes, I tilted his foot up a little too far and boom! It snapped right off. I blame this on myself, but it did sour my experience with the figure a little bit since. But otherwise, the sculpting and details on Snake Eyes is fantastic. Now, Snake Eyes comes with a ton of accessories for its price, so let's get to them quickly. Starting with the stuff you can strap onto his body, Snake Eyes includes 2 bicep straps, a holster for a pistol and silencer, a strap with a sheath for a knife, and a torso strap that has several grenades molded to it. Putting them on Snake Eyes is super easy, and is meant to also be removed easily for customization with Snake Eyes himself, as well as other figures from Hasbro's other 6-inch lines. And with all of them on, Snake Eyes feels really complete and he's ready for battle. And what's a member of G.I. Joe without their myriad of weapons and tools? With Snake Eyes, he's no exception. Starting with what needed to be included with this Snake Eyes figure is his katana, and while it has a nice sculpt, I just wish it didn't feel so pliable when inserting it into his hands. Once equipped though, it does look very nice, and it can even be equipped with 2 hands by fudging the articulation a bit. To complement the katana is an excellently sculpted sheath, with its wonderful lever-esque detail and another Arashikage symbol. The sheath snugly holds onto the katana, and plugs into either a hole on his back, or the included backpack. This backpack has the same baggy feeling as the leg wear, and is dotted with silver paint for the buckles throughout. It uses the same hole the katana pegs into for storage, and it has an additional hole on the right side to hold the sheath. And one last melee weapon is a knife. Serrated on the back just like the katana, it looks nice either held the standard way or underhanded as it's being unsheathed. Speaking of a sheath, it fits comfortably with the one previously mentioned on the strap for the left leg. And lastly are two firearms. First is a simple pistol, and to add to it a silencer. The two store nicely on the figure's right strap on the leg, and combine using a hole on the silencer and pistol's barrel. In Snake Eyes' hands, it feels perfect for a sneaky ninja like he is. And it suits him better than his last accessory, a submachine gun of sorts. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad accessory, but it just feels a little too big of a weapon for a character like Snake Eyes. Regardless, it fits in his hands very well, and you could sort of fudge a two-handed pose. Overall though, Snake Eyes has an incredible set of weapons for whatever operation is needed. For my first Hasbro 6-inch figure, I was and still am surprised at the range of articulation Snake Eyes has. Starting at the head, there's a ball joint allowing for 360-degree rotation, and a hinge allows for all the looking up this figure needs. With another ball joint at the base of the neck, that hinge also allows for Snake Eyes to look down very far. The arms fully rotate, and can also move outwards on a ratcheted joint. A butterfly joint allows for the arms to swing in and out a fair bit. Below that is a bicep swivel, followed by double jointed elbows and a wrist that rotates fully. In addition, the wrist can hinge up and down, or when rotated, side to side. There's a torso crunch that arches forwards and backwards, and the ball jointed waist allows for rotation and a further crunch. The hips move forwards, a bit backwards, and all the way out on a ball joint, and using some drop down hips reminding me of a high grade gunpla, they can kick out forwards just a bit more. Following that are 5 swivels and double jointed knees similar to the elbows. Surprisingly, the boots also have a swivel for what I assume is to prevent them from falling over. And finally, the feet can angle side to side, and can also tilt up and down. Overall, articulation on Snake Eyes is really excellent for a figure that's only $20. And while I think some points of articulation, notably the elbows and knees, feel clunky, you can get Snake Eyes into a wide variety of poses regardless. And combining it with his weapons, as well as propping him up on a flight stand, Snake Eyes can go wild with all of his options for play and display. At about 6 inches, Snake Eyes is exactly the size you'd expect from one of Hasbro's action figure lines. For some size comparisons, here's Snake Eyes with Earthrise Optimus Prime, SH Figuarts Ultraman, SH Figuarts Red Hawk, SH Figuarts Mario, and the high-grade Universal Century Revive RX-78-2 Gundam. So Snake Eyes is a little bigger than your typical SH Figuart, but maybe it can be excused since he's wearing some relatively bulky armor. Also, considering these comparisons appeared in my SH Figuart Ultraman review, maybe this is a good sign I should get some more SH Figuarts soon. Snake Eyes was an eye-opening experience to how fun Hasbro's other action figure lines can be. Sure, I don't think it stacks up as well as the few Figuarts I own, and overall I don't think it has the fun factor of a Hasbro Transformer, but there is charm in how much fun is contained in this $20 package regardless. And for that price, I must admire the work done to have such a stunning sculpt and large number of accessories included in one package. And even though I have a few issues with the build of the figure, I've gotten over them since he looks great in any pose or on display. Overall, if you're looking to jump into G.I. Joe, I recommend grabbing Snake Eyes to start out your collection of Joes. And so that was Snake Eyes, and thanks for sticking around to catch my first look at the world of G.I. Joe. I'll try to grab some more Joes and Cobras whenever I grab any Transformers from my local shops or Big Bad Toy Store, so expect more to come sporadically in the future. So as usual, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and in general, thanks for watching. Next time here on IdArmed Reviews, we'll be taking a look at... So then, see you all next time, and take care!